Hey Camping Nation, got another episode coming to you straight from the basement office, worldwide headquarters, whatever. It's still too cold out there. It's like 35 degrees and windy, and I'm not going out to work on the camper in that. Today what we're going over is documentation. I like being able to know where we've been, when we were there, how long it took us to get there. Actually miles, not time. I just like being organized and make things easy to find when I need to find them, to get information to hand off to other people when needed, especially on those Facebook forums and like, and just keep everything together. It's a lot easier than some people make it out to be. Some people will really anal and go way overboard. I just kind of go easy and kind of, I don't know. Well, here, check it out. Now, I just have just a generic binder, Velcro closure, and it's labeled the camping book. I've got numerous books like this that I keep all kinds of other stuff in, documenting the history of the house, car projects and the like, but everything gets its own folder. So in here, I keep all kinds of information. We'll get back to that here in a second. In this tablet, this one for Ohio, I've got maps of all the campgrounds that we've been to in Ohio. And sometimes I put notes on them. Let me see if I can find some notes. Well, yeah, here we go. Alum Creek State Park Campground. We went through and took notes of preferred sites, cancellation policy. Now, of course, that's way outdated. I think, yeah, let me see here. $28 a night is what we had, and this would have been like in 2015. But we went through one day and just went through and marked down the sites that we really liked. Their map wasn't nearly as good. Let me take this out so we can get rid of the reflections. But this is for Mohican State Park Campground. This is in Ohio. Excuse me. And since I had to fold it over, I just labeled it up here, Mohican State Park, but A+. And they had just told us where our campsite was. And this was an amazing campsite, which you see, I've got it in my notes. Here we go. So we've got all these for Ohio. Then I've got one for Indiana. We go to Indiana we try to go every year on the 4th of July weekend, Independence Day weekend. That was the first campground that we ever went to, and we like it there. And I've only got one of these, but when I call them from here and making reservations for next summer, I know I can sit there and look right at the map that I have on my hands instead of trying to find it on my phone while I'm talking on my phone. And I know, let's see here, 59A, that's the campsite we're going to this summer. That's the one that we had in 2020, and I loved that site. It was huge, it was amazing, and I might be able to make it even better this year. I'm going to try and nose it in instead of backing it in. And that gives us a huge, ginormous front yard. Yes, ginormous. And we've stayed in Tennessee once. And no, I take that back. We went camping in Tennessee twice. This was at what was it? Norris Lake. This was when we were visiting the in-laws, El Presidente's family. It was in 2021. I made a note here that lot 15 is the only good one. There's no full hookups anywhere. And this is more of a place that people go to camp when they're going to spend the entire day out on the water. So if you're doing it like that, then this is a great place to go. You just have your camper, you have a place to dump, you get water hookup, you got electric, and you spend the rest of the day out on the water. And since we were actually there visiting, we spent a lot of the day at the in-laws' house. We spent one of the days, almost the entire day on the water. So it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that terrible. And I think we got a discount there. My mother-in-law knows the owner, but they fit us in at last minute. And, you know, it wasn't like a really nice campground, but it was a good place to go. And then this one was great. We went to Gatlinburg, and we stayed at, what is this place called? Huge campgrounds. Had great time there. Campground was okay. Well, no, the campground was better than just okay. It was pretty good. But of course, being in Gatlinburg, that made it that much better. And then this was Grand Haven that we went to, not last summer, but the year before. Amazing place. And we don't have any other states yet. We need to get some more. We need to get some more states in our book. So we keep all that in here. Now, also, since we live in Ohio, obviously, and camp in Ohio mostly, I usually try and keep these in here also, and whatever else I might be able to catch when we're out on a trip. This one is Ohio Campers 2022. It's not that old. It was free. Ohio Campground and Travel Guide, and it's got a lot of advertisements, of course. That pays the bills, but it's got a listing of so many different campgrounds. But there's a whole bunch of information in here, and it was free. This is the Ohio State Parks, and they make this easy to have with you because it's small. It's supposed to magnetically close, but whatever. And it opens up, and on this page, on this side, it shows obviously the map of the state and where most of these state parks are. And it gives you a quick little rundown: tent camping, cabins, and water. That anchor shows for watercraft. All kinds of stuff like that. Up here, they got golf. So just at a glance, you can look at different campgrounds, and then go over here on the other side. And after you get an idea of what you want on this side, you come over here and start looking at what kind of amenities that campground would have. Central, Alum Creek State Park. Then it shows the map grid location. It shows how many acres, how many water acres, and then all these little black check marks. It shows, you know, it's got full hookups. There's only like 2 sites there that are full hookups, so that's kind of a lie. They all have electric. Most of them don't have water. They have no non-electric sites. Pet friendly, boat camping, group camping, horse camping, cabins. They don't have a lodge, but you know, all this stuff. And then it gives all this other information: speed limits, docking, boat launch, marine fuel, boat rental, hunting, fishing, swimming, golf, so on and so forth. And you can get all this information right here. And do they have phone numbers on here? Aha, yes they do. Telephone number to each one of these state parks. I believe we have 83 state parks. That sounds right. I don't see it written anywhere here. But this is a lifesaver. Some people love going to the state parks. I'm spoiled and I like the full hookups. So if it doesn't have full hookups, I don't really want to be there more than a day or two. I'll do it if we have to. I've done it before. I'll do it again. But I do prefer the full hookups, especially if we're going to be there for a week. I'm lazy. You can usually, when you go to a touristy area, a tourist attraction, like close to here, we've got, well, excuse me, close to Columbus, we've got the Indian Caverns. And when you get there, you have a huge wall of nothing but these. And when you go there and you just look at all of them and figure out, I know that area, we might be in that area next year. And then you grab a few of that area. Now, something else that I've always done, and I'm in the process of changing it up a little bit. Since our very first camp trip, I've had this notebook, and again, marked camper log. And every time we go camping, I log it. Where'd we go? Okay, this is when we picked it up at Tom Raper in Richmond, Indiana. 98 miles home, That was on May 7th. Cornerstone Campground, that was our first camp trip. 260 miles round trip. 4 through 6 of July. So on and so forth. Mohican Adventures, Alum Creek, Delaware State, and then Tom Raper here in London to get it worked on. That's no longer there. They sold out to Camping World, and then Camping World closed the local branch. And then, so on and so forth. And then somewhere along the line, let me see here. There it is. 2017 maybe. Yep. 2017 I started logging what site we stayed at. So, and then also later on I started keeping track. We went camping 5 outings, 13 nights total, and then the total miles was 726. I always had all that information. I just never organized it. So, then I just kept on going. 18, 19, 20, 21. That was quite a bit of camping. It was 33 nights. 1,600 miles. And that was on the old travel trailer. This is the year that we got the new camper, I think. Yes, purchased new camper. Standish, Michigan. 310 miles home. August 17th. Then 2022, look at all this. Now, of course, most of these was at our local campground where we were storing it, so there's not a whole lot of miles. 322 miles last year, and then 49 nights out. We spent, a few times we spent a week or more. And then, of course, 2023 is coming up. Now, something else that I've done since then, because every time I thumb through this, I'm messing up the early days. This 2014 page and 2015 page, they're getting kind of ragged. So, this is just off of the iPhone in the Notes app. Is it an app, program, whatever? It's one that comes with the phone. I made this where you can, it has a good, what do you call it? You see it comes out with a good layout. You may have to do it a couple times to get everything going and everything right. But, location, what campgrounds, how many miles, boom, 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 dates, and I don't have dates for those. That's odd. That's right, that was the first year we really didn't take a lot of dates down. But, and so on, 15 and 16, so on and so forth. And I think I still messed up and I still need to print off one more. And then I'm going to put them in these document protectors, plastic sleeves, and then put them in the notebook right over here, the camping book, excuse me. And this way they will be preserved instead of getting trashed. And I do still have the hard copy, the original copy, and that's going to be the one I continue carrying around and making notes on whenever we go somewhere. This binder may be overkill. It is kind of big and bulky. However, I can fit all of this junk in there if I wanted to. I hope next week to have something better for you guys. If the weather's good, I might start working on the camper. That's a maybe. Just all depends on the weather, really. So that's going to be it for this week. This is the time of year to start looking at some of this stuff, figuring out where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and make reservations. There's some other channels where they don't make reservations and they just fly by the seat of the pants, but they've got all day because they're full-timers. We only have so many days off of work. And like every week, we'll either see you here next week or we'll see you at the campgrounds. Take it easy.